State lawmakers were preparing to go back into session this week to pass one element of the state budget, but tonight that has hit a snag. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott McDonald.
I'm Ann Nyberg. It is all but certain now that there will be no budget in place on October the 1st, as the governor's promised veto of the Republican budget plan is expected tomorrow. Chief Political Correspondent Mark Davis joins us live with the latest on this. Here we go, Mark.
Yeah, hi, Ann and Scott. Good evening, everyone from the Hartford newsroom. More Connecticut residents facing the continuing uncertainty of no state budget came to the state capitol today to plead with the governor and lawmakers to please pass something.
For families with disabled kids my daughter's age, that urgency has been there every day for the last 2 years. It's felt like being tied to the tracks with a train barreling down at you.
Dozens of families with adult children with intellectual and developmental disabilities helped again to put a human face on this budget stalemate. The heartbreak for them is that all of the proposed budgets have funding for the programs they need. But the one that passed will be vetoed by the governor, and the one the governor wants doesn't have enough votes to pass. It is clear tonight that the state will go past October 1st with no budget. The governor says cities and towns have enough cash to hold on a few more weeks.
It appears to us that most cities and towns will have the wherewithal to operate through the month of October.
Legislative leaders from both parties had their first face-to-face meeting since the Republican budget passed the House and Senate 11 days ago, and were prepared to go back into session on Thursday and Friday to pass the hospital tax element of the budget that the hospitals and Republicans and Democrats have agreed to. It changes Medicaid reimbursement rates so both the hospitals and the state make out. But even this has hit a snag.
There hasn't been a definitive answer as to if and when we will go in to deal with the situation.
There is some ongoing discussion with the hospitals that would suggest some refinement to the language that we adopted that was in both the Democratic budget and the Republican budget that was adopted last week.
The governor's office wants language included that makes certain that the long-standing litigation by the hospitals against the state is avoided.
It would be in the state's best interest, and quite frankly the hospital's best interest, particularly on the attorney cost side, to reach a comprehensive agreement.
All sides have agreed to meet again tomorrow at the governor's office to try to iron out these problems with the hospital tax proposal, which all sides agree on. They can't get that done. Live from the Hartford newsroom, Mark Davis, News 8.